All right, guys, I figure what better way to wrap up this 100-day series than to just recap everything that's going on and I guess give some final thoughts on it. So let's cut to the chase. Let's start at day one. I create a 23-minute long video. Concluding this several month series of inaction and just weird mental, like, not really knowing my place, feeling like my 3D career was threatened by AI. I just felt like I wanted kind of a full reset, and I just didn't really know where to start, and so it put me in this constant state of delaying myself. And day one was my video to officially commit to making a change. Now, I took that to day 5, or I planned to take that to day 5, but here we are, day 100, we 20x'd the goal. Day 2 and 3 marked my first time cold calling. This was my initial plan. I was calling random businesses found on Apollo. I remember calling like some legal firm, some like agriculture thing. Like, I was just calling random people basically. I don't even remember what I was offering at the time. I would have to go back. Was it just websites? Yeah, I think it was just websites. Day 3, I got no pickups, and I thought it was from a bad lead list. I later spoke to a friend in sales who said it was normal to contact, to dial 50 plus people a day and get no results. And then day 5, I was like, all right, enough of this like random all over the place bullshit. I'm going to need to find a niche that I can really dial in on. And so I landed on dentistry. Now, more on this later, but would I do dentistry again? No. Why? Because I don't like it. I don't care about it. It doesn't matter to me. But more on this later. Days 6 and 7, I was talking to a friend and got kind of convinced that I need to do cold emailing with hyper-personalized emails, and so I spent the next few days both cold calling and doing hyper-personalized emails by finding dentists in my area, and I think making them like sample websites or something, like just like little designs, not like actual complete websites, but just homepages, and sending it over to them via a Loom. I got like 1 view on those, no responses. I didn't do very many of them. I probably, if I was doing that every day, I'm sure I would have gotten results by now, but more on this later. The lesson from all of this that I'm going to touch on more later is just how many times I pivoted within this 100 days, and the fact that if I kept up with any of these routes for the entire 100 days, we would probably be further than we are right now, but regardless. Anyways, day 10 was my first major overthinking spiral. I started thinking about like, okay, if I do websites, I need to do ads, I need to do local SEO, I started thinking about the entire marketing funnel, and then I got overwhelmed thinking about, competing with all of the other pre-existing marketing agencies that have been in the space forever. Which is funny because later in the series, as for you guys who have been keeping up with this series know, I ended up kind of revisiting this exact mistake again later, and I didn't even check my older videos. I kind of just mindlessly fell into that trap again. Day 17 though, we got our first inbound lead, and it wasn't because of anything we had done in the videos, it was because we were making the videos themselves. And so a guy from Colorado with a home service business, I'm not going to get too much more specific than that, contacted me and was like, yo, I need a website for my blank business that I'm not going to tell you about. And by day 19, I'd closed him and made a good chunk of change. So I was feeling super good about myself. I was like, dude, we're 19 days in and I've already made a good amount of money. And then day 21, I'm feeling good, and I'm like, let's run it back. Let's keep going. So I decided it was time to go into cold DMs, because that is how I did it in 3D. If I can do it in 3D once, why can't I do it again? So I had little streaks here and there where I would do a high volume of cold DMs. There were some days where I would knock out like 50 in a day, and trust me, when you're qualifying leads and DMing them, it's like, it takes way longer than you think. And it's super, super tedious, so I don't recommend it unless you do it and are successful. Then I do recommend it. Day 24, while I was doing the DMs, I got approved for a private dental forum that I'm still posting on today. My goal there was to basically go into this private dental forum and drop a ton of value and prove that I'm the man, and try to gain trust through that. And I had made a forum post, and then by day 30, I got an inbound lead. Day 31, I got another lead. Day 33, one of those leads closed, the other one didn't, but that one lead closed for multiple thousands of dollars. And so within the same 30-day time frame, I was sitting on I'm not going to go into exact numbers. I don't know why, but I'm just not going to. Very close to 10K, like super, 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 like so close to 10K. Like the next project would have pushed it over without a doubt, and then some. So I'm thinking, all right, sweet, let's make a goal. Let's do first 30 days, and by 30 days, I mean between day 19 and day like 39. By day 39, I need to make 10K. Or was that, did I say 39? I meant 49. Anyways, so I had a meeting with another guy in the low 40 days. I don't remember exactly where. I'm actually going off Notebook LM right now. I had Notebook LM summarize my entire series, and then I'm just kind of documenting like the parts about it that I remember. In the low day 40s, I had a call with this guy. I made him a mock-up website. It seemed like we were a good fit, and then by day 46, he had told me that he'd gone with a competitor who offered a clearer ROI, and this made me realize my offer is lacking. I don't have an ROI. So this kind of threw me off track a little bit. And then by day 48, because I had not hit that goal, that day 49, get that 10K by day 49, I was feeling pretty burnt out and just thinking like I should have had another client by now, given that I got one on 19 and 33. And I had taken a bunch of shots in all different directions. Day 49, I decided I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to make niche long-form videos. The thinking being, if you make niche long-form videos, 200 views on TikTok is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. But a long YouTube video is a dedicated viewer. So if someone's really fucking with you, 200 views can actually be enough to get and close a lead. So I decided it was time to make some long-form videos based on the articles I was already writing. Now, all this time I was continuing to do cold DMs on and off, but I was getting almost 0 responses. I think I was doing 10 a day. That was I had a streak of doing 10 a day for a little while, and I had done a few hundred at this point, and I got just an unusually low amount of responses. And then finally a guy did respond, and this was day 52, and I was like, yo, dude, by the way, am I in the hidden folder? And he was like, yes. And I'm like, oh, that's what's going on. So I've been shadow banned from sending cold DMs. They still go through, but they end up in the hidden folder. Awesome. Now keep in mind, these weren't low effort cold DMs. I was researching every one of these people. I was saying something kind of thoughtful and like thought-provoking and interesting. Thought-provoking, that's an interesting way to put it. But it was like a lot of effort for each of these DMs. So to find out that somehow my account had gotten flagged and I was going to hidden was very demoralizing. And so by day 35, I started thinking about content. I knew I wanted to switch my strategy. And so I was really kind of in on the AI stuff, like thinking about Notebook LM, where you can basically upload entire channels worth of content to Notebook LM and chat with that content like you're chatting with ChatGPT. So any niche topic that is covered on a channel, you can chat with it now and use all of the data from that channel to give you customized responses. It's super crazy. So I was realizing, okay, this is a crazy opportunity for content because I can quite literally just farm ideas from other people and then kind of cater and adapt them to my niche. It was a slow couple of weeks here because I was traveling and I had friends coming in and out of town, hanging out, but I kept with the daily videos nonetheless. And then by day 75, I'd come up with an intricate plan of posting on forums first, forum, blog post, and then turning the forum and blog post, the long form writing, into long form YouTube videos, which I would then break into short form YouTube videos and distribute across YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever else. And then day 77, I was in Curacao, but I was feeling kind of down bad, thinking about like, oh my God, like none of this is working. It's day 77. It's been so long since I got a client. I was thinking about, you know what, I'm going to just be a man and do some in-person pitches, walk into some places and just pitch in person. But then one of the guys I was talking with earlier in the series, he's a web designer and sounds like he's got a pretty good inflow of clients. He was just like, dude, like I wouldn't do that because like actually imagine yourself in that situation. And it's like, if you've ever been to a dentist, you know that like the dentist themselves, the owner or whatever, is busy. They're going from patient to patient. It's not like they just have free time to chat. So I was thinking about that in practice and figured, okay, maybe that wouldn't be the best use of my time, but still, like in principle, it would be kind of cool just to put myself in front of my target customer just for the experience and just to maybe learn something new. Anyways, day 80, I guess I somewhat unofficially partnered up with a 3D artist who has had some clients in the dental niche, basically making visualizations to help sell like more high ticket procedures. Nothing has like officially come from that, but it's been nice being able to bounce ideas off of him here and there. And then day 83, randomly, like a wave of burnout came over me where I was like, dude, this is so pointless. Like, why am I making these videos? And I just thought I was going to stop there at day 83. But then you guys came through like crazy with like the nice comments and were like, you know, all of the people who I guess watched the series who just never commented decided that day to comment. And they were all like, oh, I love these. I watch them every day and whatever. And I guess it's just crazy going from like, you know, I used to get 30,000 views a video. You know, my best video got like somewhere around 100K. Like, it used to be so, I guess there was that external validation factor to making these YouTube videos. And that really disappeared with this channel. I mean, with this like era, like I'm looking at the day 99 video and it's sitting at 151 views right now. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I know I was doing it for myself, but day 83, I was like feeling really burnt out about it, but you guys convinced me to keep going. So I thank you very much. And then day 84, I decided to stick it out to at least 100. That's where I committed. Now, day 89, I was really down bad again, feeling burnt out. Like, I just hated the niche. It was hopelessly like misaligned with my character. I was like, dude, I'll do anything to not be in this niche. I don't want to think about dentistry every time I think about it and think about trying to compete with these people. Now, keep in mind, I should mention that this era was not when I was focusing only on websites. This was when I was thinking, I'm going to do Google ads, I'm going to do websites, and I talk about this era like it was forever ago. This was like 10 days ago. I was thinking I'm going to do websites, I'm going to do basically the entire thing. And I'm like, dude, how am I supposed to compete with people who have been in this game for like several years when I'm doing all of this stuff as a beginner? And almost immediately after I made that video, I kind of just had an epiphany. Like day 89, I remember I went and I started rollerblading at Miami Beach to kind of clear my mind. But literally that night after I uploaded the video, that was Halloween night. I started recording my day 90 video on day 89 on Halloween night. And I was like, yo, this is actually not bad at all. I'm fine. On day 33, when I had that second client who paid me very nicely, I was like, dude, if I could literally just make it so I have 6 of those clients where I'm only doing a website, if I'm doing 6 clients per month at the price that I did the day 33, I would be set. Like I would be so good for now. Like, yes, we can always pivot later and figure something out. But if I was reliably getting 6 clients per month at the day 33 prices, I am solid. So I realized, you know what? Let's cut all of the stuff out that's stressing me out. And the project got like infinitely more satisfying after that because I could just focus on websites and focus on the distribution. And I realized, you know, like, okay, this is an advantage. I can take the angle that I'm contract free. You know, most of these website like companies, they're desperate to squeeze as much monthly recurring revenue out of clients as possible, which is, you know, something I can do within reason later. But at this point, it just didn't make sense. So I was like, cool, I'll do websites with no contract. Easy, right? And then day 91, I think, it was day 91. Right after, I realized I could do websites like I was doing, except make it like AI visible websites because I had heard about GEO, which is basically AI SEO. In other words, when people are asking AI to recommend them a business, it's, you know, that's the way to do it. There are ways to structure information and to put the right information on the website. It's half of the job is content creation. And so you need to figure out exactly what are you need to intimately be in touch with your, you know, your patient base, or I guess your customers. Like, what is it that they're wondering? What questions do they have about their procedures before they book, whatever. You put all of that on your website and you format it in the right way. And then the idea is that if someone's chatting with ChatGPT at 2 a.m. and they're anxious about some medical issue they have, and then they say, you know, recommend me a practice or a place to get this taken care of, it will take that prior context or whatever context they give them. And since you're the only one in the city who has that content on your website, naturally it recommends you. So that's kind of the idea. So it's basically the new plan, I guess, going forward. The day 91 and beyond plan is basically websites with a AI awareness wrapper. And the idea is to somewhat, you know, obviously capture a little bit of that AI interest. Like, people understand that, you know, regardless of your opinion on AI, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of just AI generated sloppy images and content. However, if you're making high quality content and optimizing your website to be visible for people who truthfully do use ChatGPT as a replacement for Google or whatever else, you are quite literally, I mean, it seems like without a doubt you are somewhat preparing for the future. So that's kind of the angle. I don't think it's, you know, the kind of thing I could have come up with on day 1, But this is kind of why you need to stick it out. And I guess there isn't a grand lesson. There isn't a grand victory where I say, you know what, guys, I was right all along, or I was right about this idea, or we haven't had proof of that working yet. But I think it's an interesting angle, and that's what I'm going with now. Now, just to start wrapping this up, day 95 was me getting nervous after finding out that Framer, the platform that I make these websites on, had actually increased their prices in the last month. And all of my websites were just on subscriptions, and so I didn't really notice, but then I went to go upgrade one and noticed that the price on one of the plans almost had doubled. So I spent the next 2 days on and off negotiating with support, with Framer support, until I basically got them to give me a discounted rate on the new prices. So that put us from, oh man, Framer is so expensive, it's prohibitively expensive and I can't use it anymore. I'm gonna have to find some other, right when I'm about to launch this offer, I'm gonna have to find some other solution. But now they gave me basically a lifetime going forward. I'm able to get it cheaper for my clients for the first year. So I think it's going to be a lot easier to sell them. I was really worried that it wasn't going to be easy to sell after the Framer price increase, but I think it'll be okay. Anyway, so not too much of a development on day 98 and day 99, but I think going forward, given that the main takeaway is, holy shit, dude, pick one avenue and stick with it. Like, even if I stuck with cold DMs despite getting banned, if I made a new account or got a new phone or whatever I had to do, like if I'd gone all in on cold DMs and mastered cold DMs, I think I would have been much further than I am now. But I think it does make sense to make kind of a content network. That is the skill to have. And so the way I see it, even if I don't like the niche, because I still don't love the niche, as I was saying earlier, I think focusing on content is the way, because I see that the skill to have here is distribution. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It just matters, the skill of getting people to know and care about a product or service. That effectively applies to anything in some ways. And so if I'm able to master content creation, which I actually want to talk about soon, I think maybe in a week or so I'll make another video talking about content creation, but I've been getting super into Claude skills, and it's actually mind-blowing stuff. It's really crazy for a lot of business applications. I think it's one of the, and I'm not going to spoil anything, you guys can do research if you want, but Claude skills is what I wanted AI to be when it came out. It actually feels like a usable assistant that knows everything about you and what you do. Anyways, don't want to get too in over my head on random tangents, but the main takeaway from, I guess, this part of the video where I go and look at all of the things I've done in the past 100 days, and holy shit, it has been a ton of pivoting. So just whatever you're doing, like I want to urge you to like definitely adapt and learn from your mistakes, but also like know when it's enough switching. Because I'm looking, when I look at this on a macro scale, when I look at all of the days, I'm like, okay, this feels like I've been making daily YouTube videos forever now, but in reality, this is like, it's like I'll stick with a plan for like literally 5 to 10 days, and then I'll be like, nope, doesn't work. And it's like, dude, what does 5 to 10 days get you in any other profession? Like 5 to 10 days is not enough to prove anything. It's just enough for me to like get mildly burnt out and then quit. And so I'm realizing, like, I think day 19, both day 19 and day 33 were versions of luck. I had someone find me from my YouTube videos on day 19, which, by the way, financially saved me. And then day 33, I think this client was just overly, easy to work with. He's barely texted me. He barely cares about the project. If anything, I'm waiting on him for everything. Like, it is a rare, special client. And the reality is that they're not all going to be like that. And so I am going to have to build skills around this. But the takeaway is that, with the grind, you will figure out what does and doesn't work. But you also need to like actually let things materialize, because giving up cold DMs just because I found out I was going to hidden is like, I guess that's kind of valid because it is demoralizing, but it's also like, because you gave up because they're going to hidden doesn't mean that the entire idea is a lost cause. It just means that you have to switch accounts or do something differently. And instead I saw that as an opportunity to shift as a whole. So, I don't know. I would love it if you guys want to ask me questions or anything about this series. That would be cool. I'll make a follow up video in, I don't know, a week or so. I honestly don't know yet. I'm gonna just take some time off. I'm going to San Diego pretty soon. I'm gonna take some time off and just take some time to enjoy not having to make videos every day. But if you guys want to ask questions and anything, I'm happy to answer them, and then maybe I'll answer some in a video. But yeah, I think this day 0 to 100, I think I'm wrapping this up right when I'm starting to feel like I have everything figured out, at least for now. I felt like this whole series was me not knowing what I'm doing, but now that I feel like I am, 100 days deep and I've made certain mistakes and I've noticed certain patterns come up over and over again, I feel like I feel like I've made enough mistakes where now the path is fairly obvious going forward. So, damn guys, I'm gonna have to switch up the normal outro, because normally I say something about thanks for watching and I'll see you tomorrow, but I'm not gonna see you tomorrow unless you go watch one of the old videos. So I appreciate you all for, some of you have told me that you have actually been here for every single video. That's insane. Thank you. In that case, thanks so much for sticking with me. And, for the rest of you who just pop in here and there and just want to see what's up and flip through a little bit, like, I totally don't blame you. I wouldn't watch these videos either in their entirety. It's just a lot of kind of yapping. But I learned a lot of cool stuff, and it's fun to formally, officially hit triple digits of daily YouTube uploads. That's so crazy to me. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it a lot, and I'll see you soon.